Thank you. Have a good evening. I'll just sell it. We're gonna go to space. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first annual Dragon Con Star Citizen panel. We got a hold of these guys and we thought it'd be really cool if we could hand out t-shirts at our booth with Star Citizen. They had a much bigger idea. So we were lucky enough to get these guys down here today at the booth with us and kind enough to take up our panel slot tonight to talk a little bit about Star Citizen. So let's figure out who we got with us. First things first, we got Ben Lesnick over here. He's the head of community over there at Rubber Space Industries. And Mr. David Haddock, lead writer for the game. I'm going to have to figure out something to do for the microphone because we really want to hear your questions tonight, but I think before we go into that, I think the boys have got some stuff they'd like to talk to you all about. So with that, turn it over to you guys.
Hi everybody, greetings citizens.
Hey. Clap, damn it! Clap, we want them to come back!
We're going to show the pitch video, but I have a feeling you all know Star Citizen already. Yeah. Yep.
No, they actually know.
Welcome. Get that guy in Aurora.
I just
it's kind of unbelievable that we're here. We had no idea there would be this kind of support in Atlanta. 5 years ago, I was a fan at Dragon Con dressed up in a rubber Kilrathi suit for my commander. Now I'm giving the panel, so bear with us, this is our first time.
So I guess for the guy in the back who's not familiar with the game, brief intro. Star Citizen is the new generation of space sim from Chris Roberts, the creator of Wing Commander, Freelancer, and the like. And you know, we're sort of on track at this point. We actually just crossed 17 million last night. And you know, we're hopefully on our way to being the first fully crowdfunded AAA game ever.
Yeah. We set out, we were going to bring back space sims, we were going to bring back PC games. We thought that was enough of a charge, and then we figured out that we could do it with the community instead of with some publisher. And, it's been an amazing ride the past 10 months.
Yeah, the original goal was 2 million, I think. And so yeah, we passed that. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, and the beautiful thing is it's been, you know, with the community. Like there's been a lot of back and forth, you know, on both ends.
Some of that today with the store that you folks weren't that happy about. We're changing that.
But yeah, you know, I mean, hopefully it's creating an opportunity for people to see exactly the process that goes into the game and to feel part of something. So it's not just sort of you pledge your money on a website, it disappears, and then 8 months later you get something or nothing or sadness or happiness. You get to see the entire process, all the bumps and all the stumbles and falls, but also all the great stuff that you get to be a part of and experience as we experience it. You know, pretty much we see it, and then I think a comlink goes up that day, and it's like, hey, check this out, this is really cool.
Yep, you get to watch us stumble in real time.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, we got a PowerPoint, we can just walk through that. We got a couple of screenshots of the video that Chris is letting us show for the very first time, and then we'll do question and answers.
Woo! So the original presentation?
Yes, the original presentation.
Sounds good.
Good had a lot of debate as to exactly what we should show today. So we took a presentation Chris did, and we cut it down a little, and we'll just go through that. Maybe. Yeah. There we go. So I guess you folks are backers, or? Awesome. So we don't have to sell it to you.
You already have my money.
Yeah, well,
Who's that white guy?
those commercials do it. We got an eye, we got the Hornet commercial coming up. Okay, so Chris Roberts, computer wing commander, freelancer, and strike commander, is why we're all here today. He's assembled us from entirely outside gaming. Dave, you worked for his production company, right?
Yes.
I was a Wing Commander fan. I ran the big Wing Commander fan site for him for 15 years. And he said, you can make communities. You should come help me design this game. And it's just been pretty incredible so far. You know where we started. Yeah. So yeah, the idea behind the game is that you're going to get this amazing space sim in 18 months, or however long it takes. If there's one thing I know about Chris Roberts, he will deliver and he will be late. Until that happens, the idea is to create this community that is actually part of the game. So we want to involve you all in the creation of the game, in bringing you into the fiction of the game beforehand. That's one of the reasons I was talking to Dave. One of the cool things about DragonCon is you are the guys who are going to want to come live in our immersive space universe. Chris is out at PAX this weekend presenting to video gamers about the game, and they're going to be impressed. They're going to play it for 6 months, but you guys are the guys who really need to cater to. We want to be up there next to Wing Commander and Star Trek. I have a strange worldview where Wing Commander is actually next to Star Trek and Star Trek. Yeah, involve the community. Let's keep going. Go find something interesting. We do a monthly newsletter, Jump Point, for subscribers. Just released one yesterday. If you're not a subscriber, that's okay. We release this stuff later for everybody. But that's actually my favorite thing I do for RSI is work with David Ladyman. He's the man who created the manuals for the original Wing Commander. And I remember being 13 years old and memorizing those manuals. And now I work for him. We do a weekly web show, Wingman's Hangar, to keep everybody updated on the game. We do an update at the site every single day, let people know what's going on. And Dave also does fiction every day, right?
Sort of. We do it twice a week, fictional update. One of them is it's called a news update, where it's news broadcasts, transcripts of TV shows, that sort of thing. Just keeping you kind of apprised of what's going on in the universe. That's ultimately you will see when you actually get to the game. And then we have a serial update, which is sort of fictional weekly installments of sort of kind of like those 1950s Flash Gordon type thing. So they're a lot of fun. We're getting some good writers that can contribute on that. Yeah.
Oh, the live streams. You do regular live streams whenever we have some big promotion or event. Let everybody meet the team. We see them get very, very tired over the course of 24 hours.
24 hours is a long time to be on the internet.
Yeah, we learned that last time. The first time it seemed like it was this amazing experience. We loved talking about the game for 24 hours. The second, it was a little hard. So you may see a 12-hour live stream next time.
Right. Or I just wouldn't tune in at about 4 to 5 a.m.
I don't know. Some of the guys are most interesting then.
That's true.
Bob Irving's barely coherent, not at all sober side stream. We learned a lot about things that you're going to be in the game.
In addition to it, as I'm sure many of you know, that when we finally unveil new ships, we unveil variants and stuff like that. Basically, in an attempt to make it 100% crowdfunded, we'll have these events where we release basically brochures and variants of the different types of ships that usually include a commercial and a brochure. And we sort of treat it in fiction, so it's like you're going to a car dealership and they're just releasing their new line of when you see here's the 300i, which is sort of like the BMW, Mercedes, think John Hamm talking very poetically over beautiful imagery. But we have a Hornet one coming out soon. I believe we have an Aurora one coming out.
I don't know if we've talked about that yet, so.
So maybe.
You didn't hear that from us. Hangar module. So we released our first build of the game a couple days ago. Thursday. The idea was that we kind of realized we were making all this money and we really needed to prove to people that we were doing something with it. So we decided to go with this modular development system where we're going to first release this hangar module where you can walk around your ship, see what's going on, and we're going to add dogfighting to it, we're going to add social elements so you can connect with other people, and after a while you'll have the full game. And that has been pretty great. We actually have it here to show you guys in a bit. Hopefully it'll run okay on this laptop.
And we do apologize for releasing it on the day that a lot of you came down to DragonCon.
Yeah, we've been hearing that all day. You sons of bitches.
All day. I'm so sorry.
It is very cool. I was in Germany last week with Chris watching a demo for the press, and I still get excited when I load it up and see the ships. It's beautiful. A little buggy, but beautiful. There's your I still think that's pretty good.
Those are in engine. So that's
Yeah, all the stuff you've seen in Star Citizen is in engine, and people say, how are you doing that? That looks generations ahead of any other game. It's the fact that it's a PC game. We don't have to worry about someday porting into a console. We can use modern technology instead of technology from 2 years ago. And the result is just fantastic. I can't believe it either, but it's real. I've played it in real time. Okay, these are Chris's big talking points for the game. Chris left gaming in 2001, and he went to Hollywood to produce movies. And I guess he had a great time there, but he wanted to get back to games. But one thing he brought back with him was his Hollywood contacts. So when we do character design, when we do the ship design, we go to the same guys who are doing that for movies. So our costumes are designed by Hollywood costumers. Our ships, a bunch of the ships you've seen already were by Ryan Church, who's done stuff for the new Star Trek movie and
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. So that's one of the reasons it looks so cool. And Chris has an amazing talent of being able to go to people and convince them to work for him, no matter what what he's doing or how much he can afford to pay them. Same with our creature design. We stole our chief visual officer Chris Olivia from Troublemaker Productions, Robert Rodriguez's company. He had started out with Chris years ago on Wing Commander 3, went into movies, and we took him back. So he's doing amazing things with our creatures. Our planets.
Our planets. Whenever we get updates with the planets, they constantly replace, desktop backgrounds. I mean, they're just stunning to see. I mean, and it's like there's so much creativity. And again, it's just Chris is pulling together like really, really good people who are very smart, and they not only are they technically proficient, but they also are really capable. I don't know if you've seen it in the lower right-hand corner. There's like that sort of cloudy thing. There's another one that was released that a guy did, but it makes it feel lived in. It gives it a real sense of life and a scale that like you kind of can imagine walking around with these sort of guardrail-less platforms. And that's kind of one of the things that's great because you don't just see like a pretty picture, you see a living world that's been captured.
The one thing that's cool is we're finally making the transition from these concept art. I mean, everybody can make amazing concept art, I guess. We're finally seeing the 3D levels, which maybe we'll show one to you in a little bit. It looks just as good. It's awesome. Regular updates. This is something people haven't seen before. This is the Caterpillar model. We saw some early concept art, and this is the finished concept rendering now. The Caterpillar Pirate Transport. We got a couple more shots of that. Yeah, they are. Very excited about it.
for those who'd like to raid and steal, that's your...
Yeah, the idea behind this one is it's got spaces for tractor beams and you'll get together with a guild of people and other people will intersect transports and this thing will collect all the cargo. Yeah. Right. Okay, let's see. If you haven't seen these yet, they're available in the hangar. We actually have posters of them to hand out in Germany, which I wish we had here. Yep, Chris and Eric. If you guys, or anybody here watch Women's Hangar? Nope. That is actually Eric Peterson. It's not an act. He. All right, let's see what else we're allowed to show you. We picked out like 500 things. We showed them to Chris. Like, nope, don't show that. Don't show that. Don't show that. That's not ready. He is a stickler for getting ships absolutely ready before we share them. So we've got a couple of concept pieces.
I don't think we've released this. So this is an exclusive. This is a very early concept, so this is still a work in process, which we will be repeating that a lot. Work in process of an alien Xi'an planet. So this is brand new. So what they do generally is they'll give us three, just a series of ideas, and just say like, is this a direction you like? You know, is there any aspect of it that you prefer? But you know, combinations, and then they'll kind of, Chris will take a look at it, and Chris Olivier, our chief visual officer, will take a look at it and go, yes, use that, less that, more this, and blah blah blah. They'll work their magic, and then it will eventually lead to this is the landing platform in Terra, which is that. So currently they're working on building this out.
This is actually 3D model.
Right. So yeah, this is basically when you're landing in Prime, the main mega city of Terra. That's where you're landing. So this can be you.
I remember back in 1999, I went to the Wing Commander movie, the premiere of it in Austin. And the next day, Chris was like, oh, come tour Digital Ammo the next day, I'll show you around. I showed up at 10 a.m. Oh, no, Chris didn't come in today, but here's Mr. Eric Peterson, who, the first time I ever met him, he showed me around, demoed Star Lancer for me, and he specifically said, for Star Lancer 2, we're going to let you walk around in the environment, so get out of your ship. It's taken 15 years, 14 years, but we're finally doing that.
Here's another one. This is a concourse, same of Terra. So storefronts, this is where you're going to buy stuff. Again, you know, work in progress, so we're still planning out this will be the first one, so we'll pass this along to you guys. And now,
yeah, we've got a early work in progress video of an actual landing level in use
of basically this. So,
you're the first to see this one.
This is Terra. Nice little constellation sitting there on the landing platform. So yeah, we haven't treated this is not anything. This is literally real time, you walking around. No, it's good. It's good. Got some nice traffic patterns going there. It's always rush hour in front. And then, yeah, theoretically through here is where they usually do the concourse, which would be kind of your entry gateway to the city. And then, the way we're sort of structuring at this point the opening. So there's a center mass store. The way we're sort of structuring is the larger cities will have multiple. Be expansive, so they'll have multiple locations where they run the city. So, you know, to give you a sense of that scale, we're going to have you like basically 3 areas. So,
and that's at launch. The dream is to, after launch, to start expanding planets beyond that.
yes. Unlike World of Warcraft, which will do, you know, an expansion every 2 years. You know, Chris's goal is that he wants to do less than that, like, I mean, a month every 2 weeks, you know, and they won't be huge, they won't be like sprawling, massive, you know, suddenly there are dragons type thing. It's going to be smaller things.
Pandas.
Yeah, you know, like a new star system, maybe 1 week, you know, and then we will have larger ones that are sort of larger scale political, but also a lot of that's going to be dictated by you guys, like how you play it, because you dynamically create the direction of the universe as almost as much as we do. Like, we're going to do structured stuff, but for the most part, we want to see how you guys tear it up.
One thing I think I guess everyone in the industry learned, hopefully, from Star Wars was players are going to use up your content a lot more quickly than you expect. So if we go into this saying, oh, we've got 10 star systems that are hidden and players are never going to find them, we know you'll have it in 48 hours. So we're creating a toolkit that'll let us respond to that. Right. Want to do question and answer for me? All right.
Or do you walk on the hanger?
Oh yeah, we can walk on the hanger.
Walk on the hanger. You guys can see it. I'm not the guy that works here.
Go inside a constellation.
Sure, it's working now.
I think it has a constellation on it.
If not, I think we can.
I actually called my wife this morning and told her to the constellation. Oh my gosh, she went to their customer service department, so hopefully
Your
it's
wife has
there.
access to your account. What's your wife's name?
I
I don't even know what that means.
I turned it off and on again.
While we work on that, we can answer some questions. If you want.
Yeah, if you have a question, raise your hand, please, and we'll come over and get to you real quick. Come on over here.
I just have a quick question. Since I've noticed a lot of the starships have full 3D cockpits now, are you guys going to consider maybe in the future having support for the Oculus Rift or any kind of VR? You could actually look around and put it on.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been working with the Oculus VR in the office. I think it'll be the next revision of the hangar. We'll let you do the hangar with the Oculus. And absolutely, Oculus support for the whole game. Chris has been an Oculus backer from day one. And, we play with it in the office all the time. It's a pretty cool piece of technology. Actually, back in the 90s, Chris used similar technology in a game called Strike Commander, where you could look around the cockpit. There were even VR helmets back then that supported it, but nobody, it never caught on. So we were actually very excited about using this in the Star System.
Very good. Who else has a question?
Yeah,
Hey, come on.
statement.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was, from looking at the website this morning, I'm going to have to rename the Hornet Technical. Somebody blew it up by running their luggage into it.
I was supposed to do that.
Anyone else with a question?
If anybody watched the live stream from Germany, Chris got his buggy stuck under a freelancer or something. A German guy immediately came up to me afterwards and said, now I know why Chris makes space games, because he can't drive.
So I was reading online, you guys are finding kind of a lot of interactivity where you could kill like a big bad pirate and that guy doesn't come back. But like, I mean, obviously someone kills the power vacuum, but that individual pirate is dead in the persistent universe. I was wondering for big historical things, like let's say if the UEE were to have a civil war, if as players we were to participate in that, would we be actually able to change politics and not have a power vacuum rebuilt, but just actually literally change the course of history as a player?
Absolutely, that's one of our big goals with the game, is letting players impact the universe. You probably heard us talk about how Star Citizen, kind of the touchstone is the fall of Rome, and we move on from there, but hey, the sound works now.
Hey! Give it up for the sound!
So yes, it's very much going to be in players' hands, where what happens to the UEE, what happens to Terra. We have some things we'd like to see. I know Chris, since day one, has been talking about how he wants to see the Vandals sack Earth, but see whether or not players let that happen.
So a lot of the controversy over insurance and things like that.
No.
No, I'm not going to complain.
No.
I'm not going to complain or praise it, but a lot of the talk about the persistent universe in that sense makes me think that one of the goals is not so much to follow EVE Online, but to kind of create a universe along those lines where you set it moving and things fall where they may.
To a degree, absolutely. We're going to have some control over the world, and we're going to do. We're going to have a live team that's very reactive. We're going to try our best to keep everything from falling apart.
So less laissez-faire, but more freedom than most games.
Yes, absolutely.
And if Squadron 42 does well, will there be more single-player campaigns?
No question. We have them in our head already. We would love to do. We can do all sorts of single-player campaigns. We can do a Marine campaign since we have the first-person shooter. Squadron 43.
The 16 mission pack?
Yep. All our existing backers.
That I should start thinking about?
Yep. We want to keep expanding it just like Wing Commander did back in the day. Yeah.
I believe Timo has a question.
Yes. Okay, so amongst my group that we kind of formed amongst ourselves, we have this kind of question of how physical peripherals that might be used for the game. And I was wondering if you guys had any plans to make like proprietary Star Citizen control panels, maybe for specific ships, or just like a general one that we can use.
We would love to. It's something we'll have to partner with a manufacturer for. We've absolutely talked about it. If Logitech or Thrustmaster or someone like that wants to work with us to create that kind of peripheral, and it sounds like they may, then absolutely. We know that they're all kind of after us to be their exclusive joystick supplier, so someday. Right now we're just kind of collecting free joysticks from everybody.
What? Copy. Yep.
I'm coming. 11 hour, I'm going to get a work done.
My question mostly revolves on the gameplay, which you're trying to show right now. But in case you can't, my question is this going to be more like Freelancer, in which you can directly control your ship and X, Y, Z, everything? Or more like Eve, where you set a radius and then kind of shoot everything?
Freelancer, absolutely. Yeah, it's a dogfighting game. It's skill-based. Eve is a cool game. It does a lot of very interesting things. Some things we're not doing, but it does not do that. Hands on your joystick, thrill of a furball.
Tumbling through
sensation
space,
at all.
fighting a missile lock.
That's our first goal. It's pure dogfighting.
Okay, well, who's got some more questions? I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
All right. My question is, will all the cities be instance-based? Instance-based? Is that how you're going to try to separate it?
I believe that's the plan. I think it's going to be, I think it's segmented just to, allow for
As many people as you can get without bogging it down.
exactly, and not to have like, like Orgrimmar,
Yes, sir.
that,
Thank you.
All right, we got more questions coming up. Guy having a big sword in his back.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mike from Black Widow Company.
Oh, hey. We love you guys.
Thanks. Yeah, we got a big show in here. So we've got ETAs on the Hornet stuff. You guys talked about the new Aurora stuff coming out. When are we going to get to see Retaliator?
We honestly begged Chris to let us show the Retaliator tonight, and he just wasn't ready, but it's getting there.
Is it awesome?
It is awesome.
Thanks.
Somebody asked us earlier what our favorite ships were, and I said the Retaliator, and Dave said the Gladiator, so we're sorry. They're coming.
Scout models for all the shit, but I was wondering if you were planning on making a full-scale damage model for any of them, or if it's just going to be static.
No, well, it's just the damage, I think.
We're gonna have a damage model. Our artists hate that fact that it's gonna happen. They're gonna be working on that actually very soon because we'll need that for the dogfighting alpha. Yeah.
I was just curious, someone also here myself, that I was curious, the game was beautiful, and so I was wondering if they thought maybe keeping you forged in the fires of Mordor was a real place.
I'm sorry, could you talk a little louder? I didn't catch the question. I heard the
Forged in the fires of Mordor.
Oh, God. I have no idea.
System requirement.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
System requirements, they're not crazy. I guess basically kind of the rule right now is if you can run Crisis 3, you can run Star Citizen. Obviously, Chris has always pushed the boundaries of PCs. So if you want it to look amazing, you're going to need a very fancy setup.
You need the obelisk.
Yeah. But I think an average PC is a lot fancier than even the new consoles. So
But no, I think because I loaded at least a hanger up on my laptop from a couple of years ago, and it ran at a decent frame rate.
And the hangar's not been optimized at all. So
Yeah, there you go.
so it should run great on any desktop or recent vintage. Try to get that. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
So that is system
Not Germans.
Survey said.
All right, can we get a question in the meantime before loads?
Send me those lines.
Someone want to see a constellation?
Yep. Go inside.
Can you switch between first and third?
F1.
I'm certain the stuff goes inside. This is beautiful for us.
We'll do a quick little run around just to give
By the way, this guy is the result of the motion capture studio that you folks bought for us. That's part of the crowdfunding process. I'm going to tell you where your money's going, and it's
That's my girl.
That's a good one. Try the turret.
The turret works, but it has the occasional problem of just breaking and crashing the desktop. So
it's like the in general.
So this is the bay where your P-52 would be stored. It's underneath that. Cargo bay. Back.
Wrong bed.
Can you see the top of the P-52? Is it covered up?
I only have a 300 eyes, so I have no idea how this thing
You
works.
have to use that pair, hit the 1 key, and that will bring up the turret. I'm sorry, the lower turret does not work right now. You have to use the captain's chair. Which you just got out of.
Your sitting animation is great. Thank you.
Lots of probably one of the best standing and sitting games on the market.
I spent about an hour in my constellation when we released it. So.
I was so worried when we, at the last minute, like, oh no, we're going to want to just walk around their ships. You can't shoot anything. And reaction's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the number 1 key should bring it up, or it'll crash.
Still.
Well, we can some more questions while we.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Right, so I've got
Right.
At the moment, they've decided to start working out the plan of like how exactly that's going to work, and obviously it's still under active discussion. So, but yeah, I believe the intent is there are going to be NPC bounties and there are going to be PC bounties based on if you're robbing people in a secure sector. The cops might put a bounty on your head just to take care of you, pretty much. So. And at this point, but obviously there's a lot to factor in because particularly with the permadeath thing, it's not like WoW where you can go and kill somebody and it doesn't matter, and then theoretically collect a bounty on them. So they have to be a whole weird system in place for that.
That's the Aurora.
That was actually the first Aurora sold, I believe. This is the account I used to test the website very, very early on. I think I just have those two in here.
Sure. All right, who's got a question? Preacher?
Lineman.
not luck. Two, actually one, when I saw the 300i, that's when I knew I was going to buy in. When I saw the 315B, that's when I did. Now that I've got my Lancer, I love her. When might we expect like variant packages on the Hornets and the Lancer? It'd be even just a release order.
It'll be the Hornet next. We're working on it right now. We'd actually planned to have it out last month, but the guy who does those awesome commercials, he had a baby that was born a month early, and so he's taking care of that right now. I think probably Tuesday we'll sit down and figure out what the schedule is. It shouldn't be more than a couple of weeks, we're thinking.
And secondly, just so that everyone can get a better idea, can you tell us what the specs are on the machine that you're running? Because this is really smooth.
We don't know. This was here when we got here. This is an average random laptop. I actually brought a fancy super laptop from Alienware, and I couldn't get the hanger back next in the hotel. So someone here loaned us this.
Come talk to me. It's mine.
That gentleman in the back.
So I've always had a thing for the peripherals. We already had someone ask a question about a joystick, but any chance we'll see something a little bit heavier than just a joystick? Maybe like a Steel Battalion type controller or anything crazier like that?
If it's out there, we'd love to support it. Steel Battalion is cool. Yes, if we can find a peripheral like that out there, we want to support whatever we can. I think one of the stretch goals was like flight chairs and MFDs. I've always wanted an excuse to buy all that stuff that the pro flight sim guys do. They have like radio panels and all that cool stuff. So anything we can figure out how to do, we want to.
a question more about mechanics of the game. Now, one of the big regrets of Freelancer was the planet range. You go to the docking range, come in, and it puts you on rails and kind of static. I haven't followed everything. Can you kind of detail what the landing mechanics are for the game?
For now, it's going to be on rails. It's a long-term goal of ours to have atmospheric flight. It won't be on at launch, but it's certainly one of the couple things that we say once we're successful and we have money to start doing this in the queue. So right now, you'll approach a planet, you'll select a landing place to communicate with, because each planet can have 2, 4, 3 landing points, and you'll stay in engine gliding in, but it'll be on rails. You'll get out of your ship and you'll have control of the movement of the character again.
Yeah, it does work. So this is something I've been throwing at pretty much every developer that I talk to at this con, and it's y'all's turn. So I have arthritis in my hands and getting steadily worse. And one of the things it's done is it's pushed me out of game after game after game. I can't twitch as fast as I should. So the question is what sort of mechanics and compensations could we possibly see for people like me? This is my dream. I love this. I mean, I was Ace Angel's alpha player, for crying out loud. Oh, hey! But the meat is meat. So what will we see? Me, hopefully me.
In this game, I think that the ideal thing would be the fact that we have so many different roles. There's certainly going to be dogfighters that are going to need that twitch to it, but there's also going to be explorers that don't, if you're going to be out in the distant reaches discovering new stars, merchants who have a crew of NPCs who actually do manning their turrets for them, capital ship crews. It's not just going to be fighter pilots. So I guess that would be the best way we would address that naturally. It's tough.
Just as long as it's flexible roles, that's all I care about. Do you know how hard it is to plot map most keyboard mappings?
Oh, well, it is, yeah. How's the joystick for you?
It's depends on the joystick.
I mean, I struggle with that birds myself, and I'm okay with the joystick, but the keyboard is tough.
Most things are set up so that you can mouse right hand.
So I would definitely try with the joystick and see what we can do there.
You just mentioned the merchants with a crew of NPCs. My wife and I like to co-op game from time to time, and I was wondering, is there going to be any support for co-op PC crew members?
Absolutely. In fact, the Constellation, that first ship we just boarded, basically the idea was we made so many Wing Commander games where the idea was that you're Luke Skywalker. We wanted to finally make one where you're Han Solo and you have the crew of the Millennium Falcon. So it's you and your buddies can fly this together. You can have a friend manning the turret. There's a little fighter to launch that can escort you. But the idea, my big MMO was Ultima Online, and my best experiences with that were going off and just fishing with my friend. We would just get a boat and we would sail off and just hang out together. So that's kind of what went into the Constellation. It's just this idea that you can have this crew of space in space with your friends.
I mean, there are two. This has got 2 turrets, one above and I believe one below too.
Yep.
And then 3 turrets in the front and the people to 2. So technically, it's a crew of 4 or 5.
And we've got some bigger ships too. We've got a person Corvette.
Retaliator.
Yeah. Retaliator has all sorts of turrets.
You need a lot of
And if you don't have friends, you can hire NPCs, but it'll be pretty cool manning a ship with your friends. And also in Squadron 42, our ostensibly single-player game, we're going to have drop-in multiplayer. So if you want to go jump in and be your friend's wingman for a mission, you can.
All right, now we know we're going to have the instance be according to how much the machines can handle. Now, as technology evolves, are the instances going to be larger, like going from 100 in one particular area up to possibly 1,000 5 years bigger?
Maybe. I'm not sure specifically what the tech required for that.
one of the big things about the instances is that it's not just a technical requirement, but it also gives you that kind of it limits you to an actual dogfight rather than like an EVE Online style, 1,000 ships at once kind of slugging away at each other. So that there's a point where you have so many ships that just in a dogfight it's just not as much fun. So we'll balance against that. Certainly, if we can do it and make it fun, then yes, we will, and we will continue to look at upper bounds for that. I know Chris. I mean, I've heard Chris say, "Oh, we're gonna have 120 people in the instances," and then our programmers say, "Oh no, tell them 32." It's sure to be 128. So it'll go on. I'm confident we'll find a way.
Yes, I know that obviously getting out of ship in the hub city. What are the chances of like satellites and doing a spacewalk, something like that, to maintain hubs out in space?
Spacewalks are in the game. It was one of the stretch goals.
Yeah, I think there's EVA. I'm not sure exactly how mechanically it's going to be worked out, but I think that's been the discussion.
Yeah, I've talked to Chris about this, and he apparently it's already in the engine, so it's not a difficult thing for us to do. So the EVA is definitely happening. Although we're not thinking so much repairing satellites as rocking around an MMU shooting other players, but repairing satellites is kind of cool.
Boarding action?
Oh yeah. Yes, boarding actions are. That's basically why we put the first-person shooter in the game, because we want you to be able to dock with another ship and take it over or defend it.
I was actually wondering how extensive the character creator platform would be, both graphically and with skills.
We're still working on that. It's going to be fairly extensive. I mean, you kind of have an average these days. There will be male and female characters with all sorts of personalization options. We're still building it, but the idea is that you will be able to create a character that represents you properly. And it's all going to be in the universe rather than just a screen where you select what you want your attributes to move with. So I think the thing Chris has been describing is you start off in front of restrooms, and if you're male, you walk into you have to determine your gender by which one you would decide to walk into. And he said that the mirror is foggy, and as you pick your attributes, you wipe it off, and you can see what your eye color and your hair color and so on. So Chris is all about coming up with a way to do this without menus and kind of inside the world.
Follow up on gameplay. Once again, the small group concept. So you'll be playing alone, you'll be doing your own thing, and your friends will come online, and you'll be somewhere else in the world. And we've had this methodology to maintain storyline and the whole realism aspect, and still be able to play with your friends. You're pursuing different courses of action in the world and so forth. Is that possible, or are you going to have a character set that just plays together and so forth?
It will be possible. We're not sure how yet, so I will dodge that question. It's actually one of the very serious things that we are continuing to debate, because there's a school of thought that says if people are friends, then let them jump in all at once. And there's another strong argument for no, if they're at other sides of the universe, it's realistic to make them fly there. So it's an ongoing debate in the development team right now. And when we decide, the community will be the first ones to know.
Do you guys have a rough ETA on when you'll be rolling out the website's built-in guilds feature?
The guilds feature, you said? Yeah. It is the next revision of the website. I don't want to promise a time yet, but it's coming. It's our next big thing at the website.
Kind of following up on customization. Not the ship, but your character itself, clothes. In most games that has a skill set in itself, but in EVE it doesn't, because you're focused on the ship. Since there is going to be a first-person aspect, are you going to have the clothes have any effect on things, or is it just going to be purely decorative?
Nope, your clothes will absolutely have an effect. In fact, we already put out a design document about the 10 different classes of spacesuits we'll have in the game and how they impact gameplay. But yeah, just carrying capacity on different clothes, just stealth. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, yes. But one mistake a lot of space games make, EA did it with Earth and Beyond, is to make the ship the entire character. You have to have yourself in there too. I mean, the dream is for you to be flying the ship, not for you to have an amazing ship.
for the in-game economy, how detailed will we get? Will we be able to go like into a forest and actually hunt and get meat and get meat, fur, and then bring it to like a store and sell it, or will that just be an automatic thing that only NPCs will?
I don't think we'll actually be hunting for meat. No. It's kind of cool. The economy is very, very elaborate. A lot of it happens behind the scenes, but we're doing a fully featured resource-based economy. I'll really talk more to that.
Yeah, it's dynamically based, so it's, if there's a lot of, if there's a huge space fight, for example, say in System A, and everybody after the space fight goes to the weapon shops and starts buying up all the wares, then the stores are going to dynamically say, we need more supply. It's going to put a ping out to basically the factories that are going to supply them with weapons orders. And so those basic facilities are going to go, we need 30 tons of beryllium or whatever, to fulfill this order to give me thing. So they will post a message basically on a board saying, hey, we need 30 tons of beryllium, does anyone have it? And then players can take up those missions and move it. So it's all very literally living economy where everything sort of has consequences and kind of things back and forth.
And there will be some mission-based things, like mining will be pretty extensive in the game. Probably for meat, though, you'll go to the meat planet and you'll find it.
Pick up a nice meat person.
I have been shooting to try. I've been trying to get space whaling in the game, and our good luck with that. RSI, tell him he wants space whales. Rob's gonna kill me.
Scoot away just in case he has someone here.
So there's been a little bit of a furball over the Voyager Direct implementation, and I heard at the very beginning of your discussion that you would be changing that. Could you elaborate on that at all?
I can't elaborate on it yet. Chris will be elaborating on it in a post probably in a couple hours. He's going back and forth with his plans, so he's addressing it shortly. But yeah, basically he realizes, we all realize what the mistake was. We thought we were going to get players into the game right now, but without the ability to generate new credits right now, so you're playing the game, it's not obviously fun. So we're coming up with a solution as we speak.
So back in Freelancer, one of the things I like to do was always go around and check every star system that was in the game, try to find every jump point, gas field. But it was always a matter that you could do that within like an hour or two because all the stellar bodies were very close to each other. Will Star Citizen see a similar kind of map, or are we looking like maybe they might more spread out?
It's going to take quite a bit of time to cross our map.
And there's I think, well, at least as far as the goals were, there are 100 star systems for the Persistent Universe launch. And I think the key is the jump points are going to be very difficult to find. So you really to the point where it's angle, of approach in a 3D space. So it's it has to be that angle, or you just don't see it, type of thing. Something very difficult, and then also navigating it for the first time successfully is going to be exceptionally difficult. So in the hopes that it becomes a huge deal, you're going down the history books for finding a new star system, and you get to name it under Google. So we want to make it a challenge. We want to make it feel satisfying. Once again, Ben pointed out earlier, Knights of the Old Republic made the mistake of assuming that all their secrets were going to stay secret for longer than 2 days. But the hope is that if we kind of bury it enough and make it difficult enough to, you have to do very specific scans, or it's all about approach or something, the jump points are very tough to find. So it takes a really kind of trained eye to kind of pick them out and then navigate them.
So, forgive me if this has been answered elsewhere, but is the server setup going to be more of a shard style, or is it going to be closer to what we see now with
Single universe, you're going to have instances for the combat of between 32 and 128 people. Yes, single universe, not sharded like Evo. I don't know how UO is my go-to. So not sharded like UO. Single world. that players will impact together.
And this will be our final question. We're out of time here, so make it a good one.
No pressure. You have in-universe news posts coming out now. After release, you say any players have in-universe
Yes.
posts based on player actions?
Yes. Yeah, the players are going to be, I imagine, they're probably a very viable source of news. So I'm imagining that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of, if someone kills Greg Pirate Roberts, yeah, it's going to be pretty important apprehended. It's going to be an important thing. So I feel like, yeah, we're going to try and incorporate that more. So, you guys get to hear about what each other are up to.
So that's all the time we have tonight, guys. Let's give it a hand for. Villains Ball that'll be located at the Hyatt. Is I right there? Where's the Hero Ball? Hilton Ballroom Main Rep. Sheraton Main Ballroom Main Rep. Heroes and Villains Ball. Make sure you come down to that. Please stop by our booth. Monk Nation will be in the building.
Thank you all very much. By the way, if you wish to help support